Hi there folks, second video in a day. Well, when I get a chance I've got to hit the brushes again, and I've been doing a bit more painting. I've got a bit of a painting challenge to sort of start, just a bit of fun really, but I thought if anyone else has time and if they are so inclined that you might want to join in on a little painting adventure. And the basic idea is just to do a 8 paint sort of job on either a handful of miniatures or even one figure if you want. I'm not sure if it would extend to units, a bit restrictive perhaps, but the whole point is to be a little bit restrictive with your painting palette, and just to see where that gets you. I've painted up a Boudica and a Druid that James had left over from his new Victrix chariot set, so I think they're meant to be mounted on the chariots themselves, but there's a couple of spares in there. So I've just been doing these. This is the Boudica. These are hot off the press, they're freshly painted, and all with 8 paints. I'm just wondering if anyone else would like to join me and see what they can come up with. God knows we've all got some miniatures in the cupboard that need to be painted up, some pewter or plastic. Really happy with Boudica. I'll talk you through the paints that I used in a second now, but I'm pretty chuffed that I managed to get so much out of 8 paints. It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But it's really not when you need to do your highlights or, you know, all the various bits. Keeping in mind that I haven't even used black on these, which I tend to always use. All we have there is natural steel, Bugman's Glow and flat flesh for the skin, of course. So that's 2 layers, whereas I would usually have used 3. For Boudica's hair I used a little bit of Vallejo orange brown on top of the leather brown. So I wasn't able to use, I usually use a lot of different browns, but I had to just stick with Vallejo leather brown. I've only used 2 greens, German Camo dark green, and cutting in US dark green for the sort of mid highlight, and then I just used US dark green for the extreme highlight, which you can sort of see on the edges of the cloak here. It has come up quite gradual and nice. The detail on these Victrix models is fantastic, and as I said, that there's just a bit of natural steel to pick out the metal bits, whereas I might have liked to go in with a bit of gold, but just trying to stick with this 8 paint sort of scheme, I had to make some tough choices. And then what I thought this is a bit of my trick card I suppose, would be a sort of highlight colour, and you can cut that into everything to get some highlights out, and I used it in combination with the leather brown to get the Druid's hair, and there's a little bit of it in the highlight of any browns that you see, but I've used it in various amounts. You know, if you want something strong like the Druid's hair, there's an awful lot of it, and that almost gives you a blonde. But the same colour combination but in a different ratio is the tunic, the brown tunic, and the hair of the legionary. The skin, I would have liked to use some light flesh, but I was a bit restricted obviously by the 8 paints, so I used Bugman's Glow and flat flesh. And I think the trick with, if you do like layer painting, is, you know, to make your mid-tones out of 2 different paints, blend that together, and that can be a mid-tone then, so you can get a lot of your paints if you really have a think. But yeah, that's the challenge basically, guys. There's obviously no time limit or anything like that, just within your own time. But I'd really like to see anything that you guys can come up with, and maybe have a bit of a discussion to see if it's an interesting idea. I know that you could go really crazy with that and have a really minimal palette, like say 3 colours, but I just think that's a bit too restrictive for people who enjoy painting and want to see, at the end of the day, you want some miniatures that are nicely painted and that you can spend some time on. But yeah, challenge yourself, and perhaps someone else will join in on me with this little challenge. And I'll catch up with you again soon, guys. Ta-ra.